That was a little longer than our usual intro, but we are live and we have as our guest today, Dr. Alina Kushkyan. So first of all, welcome to the Think Differently by Design listening tour with your hosts, Dina Redinger and Sharon Weinstein, co-authors of the book, Think Differently. We invite you to engage with your peers and with us as we address issues that relate to nurses, nursing, and the workforce. In our studies of women in leadership positions, we have found that success happens when we ask the right questions and solve the right problems. So we're really excited to invite our guest today to be part of a 30-minute discussion using the LinkedIn Live and Facebook platforms. And our goal is to provide nurse leaders with an opportunity to be heard, to express their opinions, to share ideas, and to tell their stories. But before we begin, we want to extend a special welcome to you. Go into the chat, let us know where you're from. We want to welcome you warmly. Today, Dina and I are so pleased to welcome my dear friend, Dr. Alina Kushkyan. Alina, a friend for nearly 30 years, is an MD, a PhD, and director of the Armenian American Medical College, Erebuni. Throughout her career, she has committed to service to the healthcare, social, community, and voluntary sectors, and academic and research activities. As a matter of fact, she's on the foundation board for the International Honor Society of Nursing, an advocate for nurses and international global partnerships. She has been recognized and honored for her professional work. So a warm welcome to you, Alina. It is so good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Dina. Thank you for invitation to be a part of your program. It's a great honor for me. Thank you.
Great. So we'd like to start with a question. I'll lead off, and then Dina and I will take turns asking you a couple of questions. So first of all, you and I have been working in nursing education for a long time together. We graduated that first class together. It was an honor to attend their graduation. How important is it for student nurses to have leadership skills?
Thank you for question. If you give me this question many years ago, maybe I will be stopped and thinking about that. But now we are live in a time when his leadership skills is very important. And for the nurses, it is important because it's easy to prepare nurses who can knows about the leadership skills, and after that they go into the profession of the nurses with the good basis knowledges. And again, I would like to say about the baccalaureate program, how it's important to have that kind of program, because in a curriculum, we have the subjects like leadership, management, statistics, public health, and the students have a possibility to understand and the models of the leadership and to different models and be ready to work much more effectively. During the COVID-19, during the pandemic, our nurses, not locally but globally, showed the example for fantastic leadership. All of the nurses. And all nurses was great leaders in everywhere, in every level and every sphere. And it's impossible to imagine healthcare system without this resource. The nurses is important part of the healthcare. And through the nursing care, near the bedside of the patients, they show heroism, they show the fantastic leadership skills, good communication skills, professionalism, and they support during the difficult and dangerous time, support to the patients, And and they solve this problem. They working 24 hours. We have many died from the medical personnel, especially through the nurses, but they continue their work and they use each possibility to share with their experiences, with their knowledges, and this possibility again say thank you because we are also involved in this process. We can't be out of this global pandemic, and we're beginning the series of the webinars we apply to our colleagues, especially Global Educational Development as Institute, other nurse leaders, because for us also was what's the pandemic and how we can to support and treat it our people. And it was an excellent example of the great teamwork, great leadership, great collaboration and communication around the globe. It was really the pandemic. It's exam for all of us, especially for nurses. Now, my opinion, nurses in a first stage through the profession because they show their professionalism. And of course, the nursing leadership skills, it's very important. And because they need to have interpersonal and leadership skills, and skills like as communication and teamwork. And through these skills, they succeeded. Why it's important to have leadership skills? Because through the leadership skills, we can have a much more qualified and better care for our patients, better health care for our nations, and good communication skills, creativity, critical thinking, lifelong learning. It is important part for the nurses. My opinion, education is very important for all of the nurses. Everything is very fast.
I think Dina has another question for you. Dina?
Yes.
You know, what's interesting is we see a big shift with a lot of nursing today. You see a lot of nurses that are falling away from nursing. We do have some that have been retained. But some question I'd like to ask you is, what is the number one skill that you think that they must have as they're coming into the workforce that you might feel that they may lack?
The nurses need to have many different skills. For example, one of them is the first of the communication, professionalism. Good, important to have a leadership because they need to have a professionalism. And through these good skills, they keep the safe and effective and high quality care for the patients. And nurses would like to develop their skills. They invested much more for developing their career. If they would like to grow by their nursing career, they need to grow their knowledges and
so the knowledge then is much more than just the clinical knowledge and the process and what they would be using on the units.
Yes.
It is the ability to perhaps be the manager of that unit,
Yes.
or to be the leader of the organization, or to be like our friend Maya Simonian has done with her work with UNESCO and other organizations. People have really developed and grown into new positions which is so exciting and a testament to your ability to develop future leaders.
Right.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to piggyback on that just a little bit, Sharon, and with you, and really it is around that communication. So regardless of what knowledge we have, it's also being vulnerable to be able to say, you know what, help me because I don't know. And how hard is that for people to kind of say, you know, I need help or I need some assistance to learn better, to be more knowledgeable. And it may paralyze some people as well.
I think you're right. I think it's hard, don't you, Alina, for people to sometimes ask for help or to tell you what they don't know and what they need. How do they identify their needs?
About the needs, about the needs of the people. Now we can to say what kind of needs they have. But the nurses who take care for the patient, they must be ready to take care for the patient with the different needs. That's why we need to have multidisciplinarily prepared nurses. Pandemic was the shock for all of the globe, for different professional, especially for medical. And again, now we don't know tomorrow or yeah,
No
what
one knows.
new pandemic or disaster or other trials await us. That nurses must be ready for working in different situation, and I think the nurses also that will be have a good vision for writing the curriculum for the future, not for just now, for the future, because now when we're looking around the globe, everywhere we see different things and war, many different situation and problems after the war. And this is the new methods of the treatment and take care from the nurses. And the nurses also just now, they don't have enough experience for doing that.
Right.
I think you agree with me. And maybe I don't know when we're looking around, who knows who wait us in 2023. That's why nurse must be very unique prepared and give this care, organize the care for the different patient with different diseases or problems.
You know, Alina, when you first started out, you graduated your first class, and then some of the members of that first class came on to be faculty in the school.
Yes, right.
You developed them as leaders. How do you identify future leaders? How do you know who will be the person who will rise up and step up and do good work?
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for question. This is again the problem everywhere, but we are looking for because for us very important, especially for the nursing, prepare nurses with the baccalaureate degree for teaching to our students. Again, we live in a time when they marriage, they immigrated different countries, or they change their profession. That's why this is necessary for us keeping our staff. And we are thinking during the time or when they study our students who are much clever or very hardworking, who are creative, who has a charisma, who is very has a disciplinary yes, and they give ask a lot of questions, and they give the part of different conferences and seminars. They stay with us or writing some of things of like as lectures. They would like to understand how they can to teach to students. And when we see through that young young students, that kind of people, who is a critical thinking, who has a good communication skills, who share with us the aim of our organization. Of course, we keep that kind of the students or workers, because very important to have this future leaders.
You know, Alina, this year when you were in California
Yes.
and I was here in Maryland, and your group graduated, and they
Right.
graduated with the two of us remote,
Uh-huh.
but they rose to the occasion and presented the most beautiful video graduation I have ever seen at any university anywhere in the world. It was magnificent. That and the Sigma Theta Tau induction and the beautiful cake and everything else that they did. Who do you thank from your organization as leaders for being able to pull that together? Who was responsible? I'd like to acknowledge them.
First of all, as we are responsible, like is a me for that.
Right? They know they have your support. They know that.
Yes, and of course the other active members of Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society, and of course we keep good relationship with our colleagues like you, Sharon, like and Maureen and other person, Miss Campbell, and it is a great experience to have like that experience, because this is a very good motivation not only for us, for our students.
But you've built a very strong team at your school, haven't you?
Yes.
You have a very strong team of leaders, of faculty and of leaders.
Yeah.
And that's a tribute to you, of course.
Yes.
Yes, because really leadership in our days is very important, very important. Very important, and they understand their mission, and they have these important leadership skills, and during their career, these skills doing much more increase their knowledges and skills during their career. I know many of our graduates now are working in different hospitals, like as head nurses, chief nurses, and doing a great job.
That's great. That is so exciting and so rewarding to watch them grow, isn't it?
Yes, and for us also it is a great happiness, because this is result of our work, and we know they share our ideas, our vision in their hospitals, because they understand the care must be only the best, because we don't understand middle or I don't know, and they must be only the care, the best, and patient-centered care. Patient is important, and human health is important part in their work, and of course, organization with good quality care in the hospitals.
Okay, I'm going to ask Dina to address this next question from our chat. Go ahead, Dina.
Rosemary has a great question. She's the VP of Learning at the Center for Healthcare Solutions. And her question is, Alina, how do you recommend the best method to build competence in critical thinking? Which is a great question.
You know, for the critical thinking, again, I suggested during the inner curriculum to complete this subject for the critical thinking. This is very important. Again, first, when we started that, what's the critical thinking? They need to understand the problem, and problem not only like is in a small problem, but they cover around and understand how they can to solve and increase the care of the patients.
So I'm going to ask a second question beyond that. How many times, Alina, that you have seen people in that critical thinking mode and find themselves, oh my gosh, that's the wrong problem? How many times does that come up?
Sorry, I don't understand your question.
Yeah. So when nurses are in that critical thinking place,
Yes.
they're
In their
having to
mind.
solve a problem, how many times do you feel like they find themselves solving the wrong problem?
Because they're not asking the right question. They
Yes.
haven't pinpointed the question to be able to get to the right answer.
Yes. How many times we see the nurses with the critical thinking? Yes. We see with the critical thinking, especially through the graduates. Besides, that's another, they don't have like that's the skills.
Yes. So they,
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Alina.
That's why we need for in continuing education also included that kind of skills for teaching and preparing the nurses for that.
That kind of comes back to that first question, what are some of the skills when you're looking at leadership? Critical thinking seems to come up a lot in what you're looking for in those next leaders. How would you suggest that nurses enhance their critical thinking?
How can they get better at it? What should they do? What can nurses do?
I think our nurses, they need to increase their knowledges. They need to communicate to each other. They need to take new knowledges much more. They need to read much more articles and research. That's why would be much more effective way for the continue and share their critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I think too that all of us need to start with young people, teaching them critical thinking skills, thinking them to ask questions. If they're not sure about something, ask a question, dig deeper, ask for more information to qualify what it is someone has just asked you to do.
Yes.
I think all of this is important. And then you analyze all of the gathered data that you have, and then you make a decision based upon the best information available.
Right. But the piece that Alina was talking about over and over again, too, because it's really important, is the communication and the transfer of knowledge. If we lose our transfer of knowledge, especially with the new nurses coming into play, we're going to fall short because we can't keep up.
Yes.
Right.
Motivation and mentoring, of course.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
So thank you, Rosemary, for your question. That was really an eye-opener.
And
one that stimulated a lot of conversation among us. But it is about observation and analysis, and communication is so critical. You mentioned that multiple times, Alina.
Yep.
We need to have good communication skills. We need to say what we want and want what we mean and know what that is so that we can solve for the right problem.
Right. Right.
Communication, collaboration, integrity, self-awareness, and many different things. Active listening, lifelong learning during all the time, participation on different conferences, online Zoom meetings. This is very important.
Yes, it is. It is.
For increase the knowledges from different different areas which their nurses are interesting. And one of excellent example is Sigma Theta Tau. They give us the great possibility to use the library or apply to the Leadership Institute, or give them many different information from them. This also this is very good when we have a different organization, and they give the chance to nurses for grow up and take important information if they would like to grow like as a nurse leaders in their career, and not only in their
Right.
as nurse leaders, just like as the nurses. Because again, if the nurse do it their work near the bedside, very professional, this is also the nurse leader.
Well, I want our listeners to know, Alina, that your school has the first chapter of the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society for Nurses in all of Eastern Europe.
Yes,
it's huge.
And we're
huge.
proud. Yes.
Yes, it was an honor to help you with that 43-page application. It was amazing, an amazing experience for me as well. So I want to ask you a question. If you were starting over, what would you do differently in your career, Alina?
Maybe nothing, because I'm a doctor and I love my profession, but I continue like as a director of the nursing school, and I explain we started like as a with orphanages, and it is interesting. That was a possibility for us. We use all our knowledges, or friends, or our partnership for increasing the level of education in our country. And through maybe our partnership with our American International Health Alliance and other organizations, we started the nursing education reform in Armenia. Instead of the former Soviet Union programs like medical programs, not nursing, we started our 3-year nursing program, and we was the first nursing college where nursing, teaching to nurse, only nurses.
Nurses teaching nurses. And I remember that first visit to the orphanage with then First Lady Lucia Petrosian, and how exciting it was to see the look on her face and how enthusiastic she was.
Yes.
I can still see that fresh in my mind. It was a wonderful experience for me.
Yes.
Dina, I think you have one more question for Alina.
You know, what would you, just to kind of tighten things up here, what would you like the world to know about the future of where we are with nursing, and what kind of gift do you think we should give back?
Before you give me a question, what I can to change in my career, again, I would like to say I was very, because like as a healthcare manager, and I'm working with the nurses, and I understand some fantastic. It's another people, the nurses. Sharon, when we meet during the Sigma Theta Tau conferences, they have 2,000 members from the different countries. And the nurses with the different religion, culture, race, everywhere. And I see how many kindness in their eyes. For that kind of people, it's no difference what kind of patient.
That's consistent across the board.
Nursing
is caring, and caring is sharing.
Yes, that's why I think in the future, nurses not only now in a first stage, like as a profession, nursing show how is it possible to be or keep together from different countries and show the kindness and cover the peace around the globe. That's, I think, is a new role of nurses.
Yeah.
I I I would like to, in 2023, wishing to our nurses to have much more strong nurses and give their support to the patient, not as just professional nurses, but as they working as a politically and um, and show the example. It show that's important part in a world. This is a people health and health, because healthy people is a healthy world.
Healthy
Mm.
world. Healthy
That's
people,
powerful.
healthy nation, healthy world.
Yep.
Well, healthy.
I love that. I heard three things from you. You know, we all need to keep that strength. Number two, kindness. And kindness has to be pervasive amongst all cultures, all people. And in order for us to remain healthy, we have to have both strength and kindness. So, Alina, that's what you are. I think you exude that over your
An
career. So I want to
example
say
of
thank you
kindness
for
and strength. We appreciate that. Alina, I could talk to you forever. We both could.
that.
But it is time for a close and an invitation for folks to join us again as we welcome your peers to the program. If you'd like to participate, please do let us know. The broadcast will be live, and we'll be happy to share that with you as well. And Alina will send you a link to that so that you can share it with your colleagues as well. But I want to thank you. I know Dina wants to thank you for
Yes.
joining us
Thank
today.
you.
It's been a real treat to have you with us. You know I love you to pieces. You are my dearest friend. And thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much for this interesting program and conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
She's amazing. I love your new video, by the way.